Y'all ever feel like you keep dying in Apex and you just don't know why? Or even the times that you feel like you do know why, you say you couldn't have played it any differently? Well then good, because this video is for you. What's up everyone? In today's video, I'm going to lay out 6 reasons you probably keep dying in Apex. If you can learn to correct some of these things and implement the tips and techniques that I'm going to mention into your gameplay, well I guarantee you will start to improve. If anyone's new here, just know my channel centers around helping you all get better at Apex. So really, without anything further, let's jump right into this one. The first reason is overdoing or underutilizing the movement in Apex. Lots of players get fooled by the flashy movement and new techniques that release season after season. A huge common issue players have is they either think they need to emulate this movement to the max, or they ignore the simple movement techniques that will help them. Now this isn't a movement video, but this issue needs to be explained. One of my best tips when it comes to how to improve your movement in Apex is, well, less is usually more. I coach players all the time who think they need to jump all around and move all crazy, and this not only makes your aim worse during this, but also good players can easily still beam you while you're trying to do this. And even if you think you are moving all unpredictable, if you aren't outputting any damage, then you are even more screwed than you think. Now I know it's cool to watch players who have flashy movement, but one key factor most players ignore is that a lot of the times it's mostly unnecessary. Like, yeah, they were going to get that kill regardless if they did that wall bounce or not. The other aspect is players don't understand why they may need to do that movement technique in a situation to stay alive and to reposition. So what I'll leave you with is the best movement techniques most players should focus on is a good strafe and incorporate a crouch in between that strafe from time to time. You're also going to want to learn how to slide jump into opponents, and when to do that really depends on how much damage you've just output to them and how much of a surprise you can create by slide jumping into them. The second reason you could keep dying is you're on the wrong legend. It's important that you focus on playing the legend that fits your playstyle. I recently made a video on who to main in Apex and why, and I discussed the different roles of each legend and how those roles should be played. Let me still explain some of those features here that you want to understand. Mobility, support, and assault. Sometimes these classes can overlap with one another, but ultimately, when you're in a game like Apex that's extremely team focused and ability based, you gotta embrace your role. You could be dying a lot of the times because you're getting aggressive on a support legend, or a legend that doesn't have the mobility that you may need to fit your playstyle. Or on the contrary, you could exaggerate your movement capabilities. Let's say you're playing as Wraith and you think, okay, yeah, if I get into too much trouble here, I can phase out and get back to my team. But maybe your teammates aren't within the range that you think they are. Or maybe you end up phasing too late because you didn't read the situation properly. This tip can apply in a multi-layered way, but it's very common in this game for players not to be utilizing their legend correctly, and it is sometimes a direct result of their death. So if you're very interested in learning to master a specific legend, well, I've basically made a legend guide on every single legend out there. So check my channel page out. If you guys are enjoying this video, please do me a favor and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. This helps push my video out to more viewers, and as a little thank you, I'll throw in 2 clips of me skating at the end. And in one of those clips, I take a pretty crazy slam, so you're gonna wanna check it out. The third reason is overpeaking. Now this is a common mistake players make, so don't be too hard on yourself if you found out that you've been doing it. I see it constantly in coaching sessions, and I certainly see it from my random teammates and from enemies. Players often get tunnel vision and forget to assess their surroundings, so let's discuss some tips on how to fix overpeaking. One is don't get too confident on an angle, especially if you give away your position on that angle and you don't hit a lot of your initial shots. See, enemies will generally start to react to your angle, and if you did none or minimal damage, they will probably not keep exposing themselves, and their teammates will probably adjust to your angle. So in situations like this, you need to readjust your angle and look for them again. Now, depending on if you're in trios or duos, you should always be sizing up where all the enemies are and where you could be potentially exposed from. A lot of overpeaking can really stem from getting greedy. You may hit some shots on your enemy and they get low and they get behind some cover and their teammates start to shoot you, but you get so greedy for that one kill, you may leave yourself in a bad spot. And that enemy that you had weak, well, their teammates end up knocking you because you stayed in an unfavorable angle for too long. Another common issue is giving up your cover and swinging too wide. And usually this is done for no reason. If you aren't hyper aware of your cover, then good players will make you pay time and time again. Now, you've heard me talk about the 50-50 rule before, and that's when you need a portion of your screen, roughly 50%, covered by that cover. This helps you out tremendously, but if you don't have a great opening to leave that cover, an example would be cracking the armor of an enemy or two and then looking to push, well then you shouldn't be so eager to leave your cover for free if you don't have an opening like that. You want to avoid taking any unnecessary damage, especially when you have some cover going in your favor. Reason number 4, you're not identifying the wrong decisions that get you killed. One of the most effective ways I coach players is through a VOD review, where we study their gameplay. Now, the real value in studying how you're dying is you generally start to see the patterns that you may otherwise never notice. Players are drawn to favor the opposite decision that they just made after they died, but in reality, you need to be assessing what information has been revealed to you only up until that point. So if some later information is revealed, well then you can't take that into account because you didn't know it in that moment. A lot of times players are setting themselves up to die well before they actually do. If you have a ton of bad habits, then this is definitely contributing to the majority of your deaths. Reason number 5, you're solo queuing. Yeah, that's right. For the majority of players that solo queue, it's probably holding you back in some ways. If you guys have ever watched a video of mine, you would know how much I've solo queued in Apex, so you gotta trust me when I speak on this. The matchmaking is not going to do you any favors. It just isn't optimized for that. On a side note, I am thinking about making a video on the truth behind how the Apex matchmaking works, so let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see that. But anyways, solo queuing is rough. The random teammates you will get and their skill level is going to be consistently inconsistent. Now, I do agree that solo queuing does take skill to succeed in, mostly because in my experience, I do have to carry that squad to a win if we are going to succeed. But for a more casual player, this can be very tiring and it can hinder your gameplay. I mean, it gets exhausting to try to have to carry your teammates, or on the flip side, trying to have to 1v2 or 1v3 every fight you come across because your random teammates died hot dropping and they left the game immediately. So try finding friends to play with, players who you can vibe with. It makes Apex way more fun and it will help with your teamwork skills. Keep in mind, you could think you're doing well solo queuing, but as soon as you go against a pre-made squad in your lobby, you're probably going to get smoked by them. And one of the main reasons is they just have better coordination because they're squatted up together. They're using voice communication and that's giving them a huge advantage. So join my Discord if you are looking for teammates. The link will be in the description. Reason number 6, you're not looking for the right windows of opportunities. This one boils down to game sense 100%. Every variable in any fight needs to be taken into account and assessed because I'm sure it will play a role in that fight. A lot of fights in Apex vary widely because of how many things are going on in this game. The map, the legends, the weapons, armors, on and on and on. If you aren't focused on the what and the why, then you will miss out on the how. Did that make sense? I don't know. But for real, if you aren't taking into account everything that's going on, you won't know the best time to catch your enemy while they are disadvantaged. This is a hard thing to give steadfast tips on because of all the variables I just mentioned. However, being able to assess how to close a gap to your enemies after you've dealt damage is what it generally boils down to. If you can learn to avoid taking a lot of unnecessary damage and being able to listen to audio cues, assess your UI, and understand when you need to pounce on your opponent, this is going to be critical to you getting kills and dying less. I want to thank you all for the support I've been getting lately. It really does mean a lot to me. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you're looking for any Apex coaching lessons, the Fiverr link below has got you covered. That's going to be it for me on this one. Here are the clips of me skateboarding. I'll catch you guys on my next video. Peace.